I want to know what your all's thoughts are about the whole alien stuff. I'm going to play this really quick, and then I want to get your thoughts, because I do have a couple things as to why I think this happened and came out specifically yesterday, which we'll go into, but I'll play this really quick. It's just 40 seconds. For people, for the context, it's a U.S. House subcommittee. They're a whistleblower of U.S. intelligence is confirming that aliens are real.
Has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials.
Something I can't discuss in public setting.
What?
I can't go into specifics in the public, but we're going to talk about this in the public. But
if you believe we have crashed craft, stated earlier, do we have the bodies of the pilots who piloted this craft?
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came with some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
All right, so that's the quick 40-second clip. What do you just roll? What do you guys think about that?
Well, my answer is boring, dude. I just have a lot better things to worry about. Like, I feel like that's how most people are that are just like trying to, get money to support their families and stuff. They're like, that's cool and all, like that they're coming out and saying that there's aliens, but I really don't give a shit. I got work tomorrow. Like that's kind of how I feel. It could be a distraction. It could not be. Either way, I don't give a shit. I just don't. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I know that sounds like really boring, and maybe it makes me sound like mean, but like I just don't. I'd want to care so bad, but I just don't.
I think that's the general consensus, though, only because look at the state of the world right now.
Right.
So go ahead, Casey. Tell me what you think.
No, I mean, it's funny because I actually wrote a Substack about it because I've been trying to write more. But like you said, Justin, like it's not really something that nobody's thinking about it. I mean, can you imagine, first of all, really think about it. The world is in a whole different state of being, because if this was 2002, everybody would be glued to the, you know what I mean? Like, wait, what? But especially after all the lies that have been told to us. So I'm like listening to this guy, like, well, I can't say that in a public setting. And it was non-human biologics. You know what that can be? That could be a lizard. That could be a toad. That could be like a freaking, anything is a non-human biologic. It could be a tomato. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think that there are other creatures somewhere far, far galaxies beyond, because God can create anything. But I don't believe that if they are going to come, that it's going to be the government that's going to give us the, hey guys, we're going to welcome the aliens now. Like, it's not anything the government tells me. I'm going to be like, okay, so you made it. And I don't trust it. But really, there's so much going on with inflation and everything. So it's like people can't even think about all of this right now.
It just shows you like how crazy life has gotten. Like when you talk about, if this was 2002, this would be everything that everybody's worried about.
The world would literally stop, almost like Independence Day, that scene when like a ship came in itself. But I mean, again, I think 100% that shows you where the world's at. I think it's honestly just a massive distraction, which we'll get into here in just a second. But one thing is, like Casey and you nailed already, the government has lied to us on pretty much everything. They've already said, we are not going to release classified documentation about JFK's assassination.
Right.
But we'll tell you that aliens are real.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Like, that makes zero sense at all. I mean, we know why they won't say anything about JFK, but
you know what's happening is back in 2002, we weren't so inundated with this crazy shit going on. So something crazy happening would be everything. And it's the same thing as like a drug addict. Like the first high is really good. After that, you need to keep upping the dose, get like doing crazier drugs. And it's the same thing that's happening with these news stories. It's like, all right, we heard about everything that's been happening the last few years. Aliens invading Earth, don't really give a shit because we're just drug addicts at this point that have seen crazy amounts of doses of this crazy news that it just doesn't matter anymore. And that's why I think in the future, they're going to have to get crazier. Because like in 2020, I think that was like their big bullet. Like that was their shot at, having a one world government, or maybe it was just their first shot. But we kind of saw through it a little bit. It took us a couple of years, but eventually most of the population knows that it was a lie. And I think the future psyops that are going to happen, they're going to have to really step it up. And that's why I think we're going to see like Project Bluebeam. Maybe that's going to be like faking the second coming of Christ, or faking an actual alien invasion. something like that. It's going to have to be something that's an imminent threat and not just, hey, look, there could be aliens out there. No, nobody cares. Nobody cares that there could be aliens unless they're invading us right now. We need that huge dose of drugs.
Well,
or we don't give a shit.
Funny you bring that up because first off, two things. One, this is a massive distraction because 3 things happened yesterday that were big time news, and this happened coincidentally on the same day, which I'm going to bring up those articles in a second. But you nailed Project Bluebeam, and that's what I think it is they're kind of planting the seed right now. It's like, well, the government already said that it's real. And then you have things like this, and we've seen this with this is the thing in Vegas. I don't know if you guys have seen
that thing is freaky.
This type of stuff. This is literally Project Bluebeam type stuff. And we see like in Dubai, that big Barbie ad, you know what I'm talking about, where it's the big giant Barbie figure coming out of the box. Like they can project this stuff to make it look like it's real. And kind of very similar to what happened in that day long ago in September. They want us to praise and love the government, right? They know that they are losing all kinds of respect and any value of the government whatsoever in the people's eyes because of what's been going on. The only way to ever gain that back would be if there was some type of threat that we could not control ourselves. So if you have some type of alien threat, who are we going to run to? Papa government, save me. You have fighter jets and tanks. We don't. So that's my opinion. That will be one way, but
y'all both nailed something, both of y'all, that's straight up in the Bible. Justin, what you said, they're going to fake the second coming of Christ. Yes, they will make whatever, like miracle. I mean, even if you use it as an example, they will make miracles. And then Matt, what you said, they're going to beg for like daddy government, but it's not just daddy government. It's like people will beg, like, we need a moral leader. We need somebody to bring us to like peace, right? Mm-hmm. So y'all, both of what y'all said, literally, like it's like written in Revelations of how these things happen.
Look, those people on TikTok and shit that I always talk about, the rapture is coming soon. Those people, I can't stand them because they're just spreading the government psyop that's coming. Like they're propagating that psyop like already. They're planting the seeds. I bet you a lot of those TikTok accounts are bots, probably by the government, trying to spread that agenda out there, trying to spread that narrative that the rapture is coming.
Well, and you have from long ago, right? Like Ronald Reagan, remember in that speech where he's like, you know, we're going to have to unify the world one day to fight a non or a universal threat. And it's like, people are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And that will be the thing. If there's literally aliens coming there and be like, hey, we can't fight China. We can't be infighting. We have to create one world universal government to fight this threat. And that's what I think is going to be the BS that they throw out there to kind of scare people and coax people into this one world, you know, government kind of thing where our Constitution then goes out the window. But this is one thing that happened yesterday, which I don't know if you guys saw this. The judge struck down Hunter Biden's plea deal where that all fell apart yesterday. That was pretty big news that kind of went under the radar because of this UFO stuff. I don't know the details of what they changed. You know, it won't matter at the end of the day. They'll just the judge will find out to be suicidal or something probably.
No, but no, Matt, you just say like the judge will be suicidal.
I mean, when it comes to Biden's and Clinton's, you know, it's just, they know a lot of people.
Yeah, because that judge, she really, you know what I mean? But what happened was the deal was supposed to be like, all right, I'm going to plead to this little case, to this little tax thing. Y'all going to toss out everything, the gun thing or whatever. You're going to toss out everything and even things in the future. So she came in and then she found out too, like Hunter Biden freaking lawyers called the courthouse acting like they were Congress, like, yeah, we're just going to throw out that witness case for Hunter. So the judge was like, no, like, I'm not going to give him immunity for the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. No. When I heard that, I said, these people ghetto, but go ahead.
No, so this was a big deal. The second thing that happened, which I think honestly is probably I'll save the biggest one for last, in my opinion. This was another one, the Fed hike.
Yep.
That's another step towards our banking system on the verge of collapse because we see the bubble growing, inflation. They keep sending money to Ukraine.
Also, just absolutely murdering the middle class and making everybody more government dependent. Like if you're like a kid that just graduated college, like how the hell are you supposed to like buy a house? with these interest rates. It's pretty insane. It's
Well,
wild.
everyone's like, this is a
That's the
buying
point.
opportunity. Prices are dropping. It's like, yeah, prices of houses might be going down, but the interest rates are so goddamn high
Yeah.
that you're going to need more. Like, I think in Canada now, they're trying to push for like 80-year mortgages and stuff. It's like, you're going to be, yeah, it might be your house, but you are a slave to debt and the banks because you're
Right.
never going to own it.
We need Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need someone to fix it. And then here was, in my opinion, the biggest scam of yesterday that went
Yup. I knew it.
completely under the radar.
Yep. Yo, god damn.
So that Sam Bankman freed, one of the,
Absolutely. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
no. So the DOJ drops the campaign finance charges against Sam Bankman-Fried, which is the whole big FTX money laundering scheme. And the chairman here pretty much nails it right on the head. Donating $90 million to politicians with money that you stole from your own customers isn't a crime. But if you don't report Venmo transactions over $600, your ass is going to jail. If that ain't the truth.
Bro, I knew it. Like, it's crazy how much I knew it. This was on purpose. This guy tanked so many real cryptocurrencies, yo. Like, tanked them. And so cryptocurrencies, and I'm not going to like border chat with this, but cryptocurrency is supposed to be unregulated bartering system type money, for people to do what they want with it, whatever, right? It's supposed to be unregulated. And this kid comes in, kills most of the cryptocurrencies. And then now they're saying we need to regulate cryptocurrency. And then now the charges are dropped. That is insane. Then he was sending money to Ukraine. He was sending money to Ukraine and was funneling back to the Democrats, allegedly, in my opinion. I have to say that.
They claim that's exactly what they did.
And then his parents just find the similarity in all of these people that I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, his parents were highly up within the Democratic Party.
Can we get an early life check?
Yeah,
early life check on Sam Bankman. He's part of the long nose people, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh
His father is totally against like cash payments. He's written like
of
articles.
Course.
You know what I mean? Like
cashless
we can't
society.
regulate cash payments. Then they were working with the head of the SEC, who you already know. You know what I mean? Yep. And it was just like everything. So when I looked at this case, I said, this is the government doing this to mess up unregulated transactions in cryptocurrency. And then they dropped the charges. Extraordinary. I cannot explain how, it is crazy to me how much I saw this coming. You have to understand, I was like all into this.
If we did anything even similar to this with $100, like you said, my Venmo transactions, I'm going to get audited for for Venmo transactions. And this clown, $90 million just gone and stolen. It's okay.
He took people's lives.
No worry,
bro.
No big deal. Well, again, when you're part of the group and you are funneling money for these people, and you're basically a criminal, and that's, like I said, I've said this for forever. That's the only reason why they got rid of the mafia in the 80s and the 90s and stuff, is because they didn't want any type of competition. The government was enough of a crook.
Yes.
They can't have any competition themselves. So
if you liked that video, go ahead and smash that like button. We would greatly appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. That way you never miss any future content covering everything from culture news to pop culture news and just laughing at all the world events that are happening. Thanks for checking out the video, and until next time, take care.